I did cringe a little bit. Joe was going on how hot they were when they lost weight.
She's hot and lean, and you see her like, give me a recent picture of Adele.
And hot, and they look skinnier and hot, and when you're overweight and your eyebrows are puffed out and your face is puffed out and it's not so good. I was like, Coach Greg and I wanted to discuss some more important topics that were discussed on the Joe Rogan podcast featuring Plates for Dates, Derek. Okay, they talked about natty or nots, body positivity, whether or not people are natural or not, the pressure for men versus women to be thin, and the pressure to look a certain way.
I did a video a long time ago on Jason Momoa, I think.
Oh, did you think Jason Momoa was on the sauce?
Derek's like, I'm not sure, maybe, perhaps at his peak, and I'm thinking, he's for sure taken something. And by for sure, I always mean 99.999%. There's always that 1 in a million chance. So then they brought up Chris Hemsworth's name, and it's like, yeah, oh yeah, that guy's juiced up for sure. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's obvious. I mean, to me, just as obvious as Jason Momoa is him, pretty much the same. But imagine the pressure that kids have growing up, and that's who you're looking at. And they would tell us there's so much pressure on women to be thin. Women, they have to look a certain way. The pressure on women, oh my God, it sucks being a woman. Men, they got it easy. They don't have to worry about anything. And it's like, are you kidding?
For us, the physique we're told is like the ideal is achieved through grams and copious amounts of exogenous steroids that are going to kill you in like 15 years.
So there is a shit ton of pressure for men to look a certain way. You think these movie stars are doing it natural? Think of the millions of dollars that they can make. Or do you think they're going to get into professional wrestling natural or anything? There's so much pressure to look a certain way. How are you going to actually do that? Like, how are you really going to do it?
I think there are certain women that want an excuse for why they're big.
Then we have all this body positivity. Is that supposed to take care of anything? Well, let's see how that goes. So let's just promote everyone just not giving a shit, just sitting around and doing nothing. Then we had this pandemic, and lo and behold, we find out that people who are overweight, obese, are much more likely to get sick and die from this cove that we're talking about. So how did that work? If you're literally overweight, obese, your chances of dying from all these illnesses go up. But, and I'm glad they brought this up, Joe Rogan said to Derek, did you see that podcast about, I had Peter on? And he's like, yeah. And he said, and this is why you really got to watch this. You got to listen to this. And I've been trying to tell my girlfriend about this. There is a 5-fold decrease in your chance of dying from all, whatever, add it all up. 5-fold decrease if you're fit and do a lot of cardio, like your cardiovascular system is fit. So of all the medications that you can do, of all the things you could try to do, losing weight and all this stuff and whatever you're doing right now, regardless of what you're doing, maybe you're a smoker. If you get your fitness, your cardio up to the point of being elite, that means in the top 2.5% of the population. Doesn't mean you're Lance Armstrong. It means you're high fitness level, but it's not like ridiculous. Elite, 2.5%, 1 out of every 40, like fit like me type thing. 5-fold decrease in all chances of mortality from anything. So think of what we should be promoting. What should I be promoting as a fitness person on YouTube? I can try to help you lose weight. You can get my cookbook and all that stuff. I can tell you don't abuse PEDs. I can tell you stop smoking, don't use direct drugs, don't do all this shit and don't do that. And of course, that's all great. Chances are somebody's going to do something wrong. Not everyone is going to put sunscreen on their bodies all the time. Not everyone can just not eat. Not everyone can just not be hungry. Not everyone can just avoid all fun in life. But everyone can do cardio and get fitter. And the more fit you get to a point, the longer your life expectancy.
You get most of the benefit, honestly, by going from not fit at all to average fit. That gives you 3 of the 5x.
It doesn't mean you have to get up to that elite level, to that, that top 2.5%. If you go from being unfit to just fit, like doing 150 minutes of cardiovascular exercise a week, 3-fold decrease in your chance of dying from all these things, okay? So if you're not doing anything right now and you're thinking, yeah, Greg, sounds all great. I'm going to be an elite level fitness person. Not going to happen. If you're just not fit, you can get to the point of just being fit. You don't have to be like Superman fit, but just do a little bit more than now. That's why I keep promoting harder than last time, wherever that may be. If you can't walk 10 feet right now because you're 150 pounds overweight, 450 pounds overweight, you can't walk 10 feet. Work your way up 11 feet, 12 feet. Eventually, maybe you'll be able to walk a half a mile. If you can already walk a half a mile, well, let's see you getting 2/3 of a mile, then a mile. If you can do 10 minutes of cardio, let's see you working your way up to 11. Work your way up, get to 150 minutes. That will go from having, regular chance of death to 3-fold decrease in your chance of dying from doing stuff. If you want to then keep pushing it, well, why wouldn't you? Who doesn't want to have 4 times less chance of dying, 5 times less chance of dying? In the podcast, they explained 4 sessions of about 45 minutes a week plus 1 day of HIIT cardio. That can get you to that elite level.
If you're a 52-year-old male, I'm asking you to have the VO2 max of an elite 42-year-old male.
And the HIIT cardio they discussed was kind of like a set of 4 minutes hard, 4 minutes easy, 4 minutes hard. So it's just like when I'm racing on a bicycle. Some parts are really hard, uncomfortably hard, and then you go a bit easier, and then very, very hard, and then easier. If you're just a regular person, you're not going to want to get to that level. You slowly work your way up to that. So how long is that in all? Maybe 3.5, 4 hours a week? 3.5 to 4 hours a week. If you can't put that much effort into trying to live a long life, then really, is it not worth that much?
Well, not only that, especially during the pandemic.
They also brought up how it's the pandemic and people keep saying, just love yourself. Let's make excuses to not have to do anything. Every time I hear that, I keep thinking of when Stephanie Buttermore said, let's just forgive ourselves. It's the time to be forgiving. You're sitting on your ass and you're eating chips in the pantry and all that stuff. Just forgive yourself. This is normal. And I get why they're saying it, because they don't want that mental strain and the poor mental health of feeling like shit that you didn't do anything. But it's not okay to do that. You can't just forgive I just did all this stuff wrong. I'll forgive yourself. It'd be like saying, I just took up smoking during the pandemic. Smoke a pack a day, but forgive myself. I broke. It's not the way to do it. You should love yourself enough to keep moving even though the gyms are closed. Do something else. Replace it with something. Love yourself enough to care enough to do something about it.
That is a positive change over the pandemic.
See what's wild? Have you seen the Adele before and after?
Yes.
And people get pissed.
They mad at her.
Yeah.
Oh, you used to be one of us. You used to be normal. You'd eat and you were a singer and you could do all this. Now you're not one of us because you care. It's can't you use that as motivation to make yourself want to do what they're doing rather than shit on them for not being one of you anymore? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Because now they see her and she's this hot lady. Mm-hmm. She's hot and lean and, you see her give me a recent picture of Adele.
Now, I was watching this and I did cringe a little bit. Joe was going on how hot they were when they lost weight and how they lost weight and now they look hot and they look skinnier and hot. And when you're overweight and your eyebrows are puffed out and your face is puffed out and it's not so good. I was I don't want people to think that the reason to exercise and to lose weight and to be healthy is to look hot.
She's a smoke show now.
They're pissed she's going to be less likely to die.
It's not about just how you look. It's about how you feel on the inside, your health. And just because you're overweight doesn't mean you don't look hot. It's not about if you're hot or not. If you're 100 pounds overweight versus not overweight doesn't mean you're not hot. That is, to me, the wrong thing to talk about during this. It's not healthy, healthier. That's what it's all about. They also brought up that Derek used to be extremely overweight. He was up to 270 pounds at one point because he used to think, used to think that you had to eat big to get big, that you had to force the food down to get all this extra muscle.
I thought more food equals more muscle, not that you're just going to gain disproportionate amounts of fat. So I used to force feed the shit out of myself. I just turned into a bloated disaster at 40 pounds heavier than I should have been.
I was a bloated disaster. Do you think it's healthy? If he was hot or not, you can debate me whether you think he was better looking when he was heavier, better looking small. Some people prefer people overweight to be more attractive or not. I don't care if Derek was hotter when he was fatter, hotter, thinner. Don't care. Which one was he healthier at? Which photo is he healthier, now or when he was 270 pounds? Is force feeding, getting overweight on purpose, healthy? And consider when you're overweight or obese, what damage that can do in terms of your ability to ward off diseases. For example, the cove. We know that if you're overweight or obese, your chances of surviving go down. And that's not just for this one thing, it's for tons of things. When you have a healthy immune system, whether you're a healthier weight, you're healthier. for everything you meet in this world. Not saying to lose too much weight. If you're anorexic, if you get very, very skinny, your BMI is too low, also not healthy. There is a range of healthier. You should stay somewhere in that range. Again, I highly encourage you to go watch the podcast. It's just over 3 hours in length. You'll see them talk in detail, but I just wanted to highlight this because 5-fold decrease in your chance of mortality from everything you might get, that is huge. And as they described, there's no magic pill, there's no doctor prescription, there's no medication that any doctor can give you as good as the gift that you can give yourself by doing cardio, exercise, and becoming fit. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette IB Pro. Please watch the bloops. Don't forget Harder Than Last Time supplements, including turkesterone. You can get that. Click the link in the description. Cookbooks help you stay fit, stay full. Training books, coaching plans by me and my team. Subscribe. Click the bell button. Comment for the algorithm. And until next time, I am out.